Deep breath. Smell the flowers. Blow out the candles.
A couch offers the kind of comfort
He just knew how to draw the best out of people.
Jen and Greg Zinn never expected they'd need.
I can be so proud of him, and that's a blessing. He was an amazing young man, and I know I'll see him again. But dang it, I wish I had him here for a little longer.
I think his appeal is that he related to everybody and reached everybody.
The family couch may look full,
He was a rallier, for sure.
but there will always be an empty seat.
Everybody has a chance to leave their mark, and it can be good or bad, and his was spectacular.
Jackson Zinn was one of 9 killed in a car crash in West Texas on Tuesday.
And he was fiercely loyal and
One of 6 students and members of the University of the Southwest golf team.
I'll miss the stuff that, the stuff that we aren't going to get to do.
But the stories family wants people to hear about Jackson are ones that make them smile.
somebody would say, "Oh, your dimples are so cute," and at 3 he'd be like, "These are for the ladies."
Stories that make them laugh.
He didn't clean his room very well, but he was a great golfer.
Stories that make them proud.
I don't care how old you are, you can learn from him and how he lived his life.
Reminders of what Jackson brought to the family.
He was amazing, and we are so much more the richer having him in our life, and I wouldn't change it.
The family couch feels both empty and full.
Thousands of people could be sitting on this couch right now telling a great Jazzer story, or Jackson, or Zen, and just feel also blessed that he was in their lives.
Whew. All right, here we go. All right.
Years of practice,
Oh, sorry.
writing music, and singing
That beautiful smile
resonate in this room.
masking your tears.
It's the spot where a career as a musician
Moves so fast.
collides with motherhood
Feel like home.
for Amanda Hawkins.
I found my groove, and yeah, so I'm just grateful I still get to do it.
I need you here. You
Grateful she found the balance between her first love of music
like, ooh,
and now her 2 daughters.
I think I show them that you can have a career, you can follow your dreams.
She's living her dream, one she couldn't have pictured better when she was 14.
Oh man,
In 2001,
glitter.
Amanda auditioned to sing the national anthem for the Nuggets.
Oh man, this is a baby. It's just weird to see little me in that same spot, terrified and having no idea that I'd be spending quite some time there.
Now for the first 2 minutes of every home game,
oh, say
her voice will ring
you
out
see
as the new primary anthem singer for the Avs.
the light.
So this is like the ultimate anthem gig, that's for sure.
She's got the right hair
Let's go Avs.
and a voice that's already carried the team through the playoffs.
And that was probably one of the most epic anthem nights of my career.
She's found the harmony between music and motherhood.
I've always wanted, a beautiful family and an awesome career, music flowing through my house, and I have that.
Isn't it beautiful?
We got Katie Eastman, probably the happiest moment you're going to have on live TV today. Katie, who is your friend?
This is Gidget, and I'm actually keeping her from Joy right now, you guys, because she really wants to go and play with all of these other dogs here at the Berkeley Dog Park. But I'm making her stay right here for the TV. Gidget, can you sit? Can you sit? I'm gonna give you a treat, and then I'm gonna let her go off and play, and we're gonna show you her playing with all the dogs. There you go. There's your treat. There you go. So yeah, this. Yep, you're good. Oh, now she wants more treats. No, she's going off. This is like the best place to be on a snow day, right? If you're lucky enough to have a snow day or to work remotely or work from home, then you can bring your dog here, and it is just the absolute happiest day. I'm gonna show you Gidget playing here. That's the Doberman Lucy. She's just a puppy, but she is enjoying herself. It is great. I know, it's just Yep, they're good. She's like, oh gosh, she just ran into Anne. This is Anne's dog kitchen. When Anne's trying to man a camera while she's watching all the dogs play. Okay.
Christmas lives on every corner in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Following closely on its heels is cowboy culture. But right down the street, they're playing a different tune.
Today is the first night of Hanukkah. In the Jewish religion, our most famous saying is, they tried to kill us, we won, let's eat.
Dave Lerner celebrates a holiday not observed by many Wyomingers.
It's terrible. They call them Wyomingites, and we shouldn't.
Dave's the president of Mount Sinai Congregation in Cheyenne.
We are the oldest synagogue in the state of Wyoming, but not the only one.
But close. There are 5 total and 2 ordained rabbis.
You saw me at the Seder, didn't you?
Mount Sinai's Rabbi Moshe Helfon
Don't let the light go out.
is one of them.
Yeah, Wyoming is the big empty. That's what they call it.
But when Cheyenne first settled in 1869, the promise of a railroad tempted many to move west.
But when the Jews moved here with the frontier and the trains, they brought that culture with them.
Which included a holiday lots of people get wrong.
A lot of people think it's the Jewish Christmas. We don't have a Jewish Christmas for obvious reasons.
But it's got the main story of the story of Hanukkah.
It basically celebrates a rebellion against the Syrians, led by the Maccabees, which was a Jewish family.
They were fighting religious oppression.
But it was guerrilla warfare.
And they were able to retake the temple.
They had a holy light that they needed to light.
They didn't have enough oil for lighting rededicating the temple.
They looked and said, there's only enough oil for one day.
It lasted a whole week.
That's the miracle. Not quite parting the Red Sea.
I have a little dreidel.
You know, we celebrate a lot of historic holidays, and this is a historical one.
When it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall
60
play.
years ago, this congregation gathered here looked different.
I believe we had about 1,500 in the congregation when we did then, and today we're probably around 50.
I'm making latkes. In Hebrew, we call it levivot.
The traditions are strong, though some estimates say 0.2% of Wyomingites are Jewish.
It's very cold, but the people are very warm.
It's pretty obvious what most folks around here are celebrating.
He makes sufganiyot, which is the Hebrew term for, oh my gosh, that's good.
Dave says what he believes is respected here too.
We're live and let live in Wyoming, and that applies to religion as well.
Welcomed. It's clear.
Merry Christmas.
That's how Dave feels.
It doesn't bother us to say it. We're fine with it. We want you to celebrate.
How neighborly. There's nothing more cowboy than that.
The search for meaningful moments isn't always on purpose.
Just busy days, especially now.
What's valued one day can change overnight.
I just didn't know how bad it was going to get. My thought was just the wind's blowing it our way.
Ruth Lincoln and her blended family of 7 lost their home.
We looked at each other and went, okay, now what?
But the Marshall Fire didn't quite take everything.
I'm telling you, the couch knew that it was going down that day.
A couch that had no significance until it became the only thing they had.
Everyone keeps on asking this story and you gotta explain it a lot.
It was just a good couch that was comfortable.
I'm pretty sure it's a fake leather couch. It's black.
I'm a tad bit colorblind, so I saw like a brown black couch, but
it's a good little couch. Like, it's a great little couch.
It got you through half the movie, and then you're like, I don't know if I like you that much anymore. That's about what it was.
They tried to get rid of the couch months before the fire.
It sat on our curb with a big old freeze sitting out there, and nobody took it.
I didn't even know he tried to get rid of the couch. I like the couch.
I was going to put it on Facebook, and, you know, it didn't go anywhere. Nothing happened with it.
So the morning before their home burned, they loaded it up on a trailer.
And I'm taking this thing to Goodwill. And I get to Goodwill, and I won't say the actual words that he told me, but it was a piece of something.
Then he tried to take it to the dump, and they said it was $150.
The couch stayed on the trailer.
So I turned around in the little turnaround area, and I looked back, and I could see the smoke coming up from towards our house.
If only they could see what was about to come next.
And no, it was just all ash, like there was nothing left.
I mean, we could have got rid of it pretty easy if we just left it in the house.
That couch, though, it had another idea.
So this is the photo that we took.
One that would make this family find meaning in an unlikely place.
When you're in this place where you have nothing left, you really have nothing to look back at either. You really have to take those steps to move forward. And that was kind of what this symbolized for us, is our last photo at our home, moving forward with a couch that just didn't want to leave us. I mean, for whatever reason.
It's a haunted couch.
Haunted or a piece of hope,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Life's belongings look different now.
You know what, I was like, this is like one of the best photos I think we could have.
The couch they thought they didn't want fits everything they need.
Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop your booty.
Growth is good.
That's all I got.
When it comes to plants,
They'll sit in water, they'll grow roots.
And people.
I might get 2 plants out of this.
Monica Aragon knows both to be true.
This is Marky Mark. So this is Uncle Phil. This is John Goodman.
Monica's a total plant nerd.
This is little John Goodman.
And proud of it.
I will say I get it from my dad. My dad was a science teacher. My dad passed away in 2019. That was really hard, like the hardest thing in my whole life. And I was just looking for something to help heal myself.
She found new life in what she geeks out about most.
This is like to a whole nother level.
A hobby that's infectious.
This is my bestie, Sophia.
A hobby so big.
And she's my right-hand woman.
It requires backup.
It's a lot of work.
And she saw that working a normal 40-hour-a-week job wasn't allowing her to really put as much into it as she wanted to do.
I worked at King Soopers for 15 and a half years.
It gives me goosebumps to think about it, and she left all that.
I gotta go. I can't do this for the rest of my life, you know, especially working there during the height of the pandemic.
So Monica followed her green thumb and started a business.
Plantiness.
Plantiness.
So plantiness is the happiness plants give you. It's everything. It's an emotion.
With this new gig, she hosts plant-centric events.
Share with the world what has been healing me.
The other part of her business plan is unorthodox.
I'm potting up all the plantiness plants that will be given away.
Free. No strings attached.
Like, hey, here's a free plant, just because.
It makes perfect sense to Monica.
The pandemic happened, and I really wanted to just like hug the whole world and just say, it's gonna be okay, I promise it's gonna be okay. I feel like there is more good in the world, you know, than bad. We just don't always hear about it.
Monica's happy to spread the word.
Would you like a free plant today? Let's go then. We'll grab a plant. Sorry to interrupt. Do you guys want a free plant? Yep, absolutely. Those are all for free.
So far, she's given out 754 plants in 2 years.
So I propagated and grew all of these, and here they are. And I just give away free plants to spread some light and love into the world.
Strangers, now friends.
Right? Growing stuff is just like...
who learn a new word.
I call it spreading the plantiness.
Even though they already have the mindset.
Just to go, I just got a plant. I know that's corny, but it makes me smile.
It's green and it's living and it's just like,
oh. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you go pick any one of these.
Growth can be imperceptible, like roots spreading beneath soil.
I haven't seen that one flower as much.
Or the grief of losing a dad, slowly growing into something beautiful.
He would be beaming, smiling ear to ear, and super proud of me, and just like, loves it.
You're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Ann Herbst.
Thank you.
9 News.
Thank you. Like, I'm very happy.
Perfect Colorado day, yeah.
Some Colorado days are unforgettable.
I love this state.
Chris Lane remembers the perfect ones.
This was Copper Mountain.
The ones with the view.
Just to be able to see all around.
And she will never forget the afternoon that changed it all.
On October 28th, it's a day I'll never forget. October 28th of 2016, and about 7 steps into our hike, guess who was the one that slipped on the loose gravel, fell 80 feet down Clear Creek Canyon, and broke her back.
Finding adventure was harder after her accident.
I couldn't get up. and out of bed by myself at all.
It's why Chris shares her story.
You're not even thinking about you. You're thinking about what can you do physically when this is very limited.
She wanted to have more unforgettable moments.
Roll on with life.
She encourages others to do the same.
Really ensure and hope that people can get out of it is move. Don't stay stagnant. Yeah, right there. I am going to enter into the sled.
Chris isn't someone who can sit still. She just needs help from people like Jeffrey Lockwood.
There's good people here, guys.
To get back on the mountain again.
We have a huge group here. How many people do we have? There are programs that do accessible city parks, county open spaces, and they do it regularly, but they don't go to the mountains. All right, here we go, guys.
All right.
Jeffrey's nonprofit, the Lockwood Foundation, makes trails accessible to everyone.
If you ski in Colorado, there's a dozen different options for you, but if you want to go out into the trail, there are 0.
Slow and steady up these hills.
From 0 to about 2 miles per hour, Chris is making new memories she never thought were possible.
Wow, my cheekbones are hurting. I'm smiling so much.
With a little encouragement,
Go, Andy, go, Andy, go!
volunteers pull her up the Mayflower Gulch Trail.
Woo! Yeah! This is the best. This is the life.
For Chris, this is what happiness looks like.
It's a beautiful morning.
And sounds like too.
On this beautiful day.
I am in absolute awe in how amazing community can be together and the kind of experiences that we can provide when we choose to as a group.
After 5 years away from the views she missed so much.
Woo! Look at these cabins.
This day will be hard to forget.
We'll remember these momentous times in your life. All right.
Memorable in the best way.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep this sled rolling. Keep it rolling.
Do.
Art speaks volumes.
Pretty much the biggest wall mural I've done solo.
So does Adri Norris.
The stack of books that I have are all books that are about just equity for different groups, LGBTQ communities. The stories that we continue to speak aloud, those are the ones that persist.
Adri's an artist.
This is nothing but straight lines.
An activist.
This is America. Things can always go sideways.
A collector of facts.
I have a portrait of Ava Hamilton, who is a Native American activist.
That palette gets her through the hottest days.
That's why I have this ridiculous hat on.
Adri never gravitates towards the easy or obvious.
For that reason, I paint murals of women.
Size doesn't matter. Her works make a statement.
When I first started this project, I was thinking in terms of role models. I'm like, man, look how many role models I've been deprived of by not knowing who these people were.
Her focus is singular.
Absolutely.
Women who make history, but not necessarily history books.
Because, there's just so many individuals. I'm like, really? Nobody told me? This is stupid. So this is Mary McLeod Bethune. She was actually on the founding committee for the United Nations. She was involved in the fight for women's suffrage.
The marks she leaves celebrate women who made their own.
The Audre Lorde? Yeah. That's kind of one of my favorites. I'm not selling it. She was a lesbian feminist. I'm a lesbian feminist. Kind of fell into education. And I kind of fell into education as a result of this work that I do.
A teacher.
I love all things nerdy.
Who's always learning, so she gets their stories right.
You know how many books I have to read? Which information I have to be just constantly taking in all the time?
Adri's path to art is a little jagged.
Do you mean how I joined the Marines for some reason?
5 years as a military translator.
That was a weird thing I did.
Taught her to speak for those who couldn't.
I was privy to how Middle Eastern culture actually was, and so I became acutely aware of the strength of propaganda in that sense, and how we choose to view people and how we choose to speak about people. I'm not only showing you, hey, here's a picture of this lady that I think is cool, I'm telling you what she did. And so the things that I'm most passionate about actively affect me, which is why I don't paint dudes.
Sometimes frustrations fuel her work.
This week, they decided to overturn Roe versus Wade.
For Adri, it makes each brushstroke more important.
You know, I'm wearing Shirley Chisholm on my shirt today. First black woman in Congress. I think she would be sorely disappointed, but whether she'd be surprised or not is up for grabs. Anger is very good at creating action. And when focused, the kinds of actions that we can take are phenomenal. This is a series of paintings that I do that I call Women Behaving Badly, because well-behaved women seldom make history.
Lessons break through gallery walls.
We have a tendency to kind of think about women in history, people of color in history, and just sort of relegate a few of them. It's almost like a few of them get to do something. When it comes to doing my pieces, I've made a point predominantly to not pick the most famous.
Women's voices are elevated.
She was Iran's first female judge.
That gets people talking.
I like this one because I'm also Indigenous. Just all of it. It makes me proud to be Indigenous at the same time. It makes me feel more empowered to work harder in what I do in our community.
So if we don't tell our stories out loud, if we don't tell them to one another continually, then those stories fall by the wayside.
Art can be loud.
She was incredibly prolific writer. She won the Croix de Guerre, which was the French. And so she became a scientist. She became a doctor. Brianna Scurry, she was super dope.
When Adri's brush hits the paper, the wall, the canvas.
Pleasure. Thank you for coming.
She hopes people listen.
So rolling over here, we have Lori Hernandez. Jemison was the first black woman to go into space. If you're curious to know more, please look it up.
One trip around the sun. Everyone's journey looks different.
Look around and we're the only people here right now.
Molly McCormick completes her yearly trek in Colorado.
It's unbelievable.
Where all 4 seasons are picture perfect.
Oh, look at that view.
Cliché, yeah, but when you're a wildlife photographer like Molly, and these are the views, and that, and this over here.
That is a big, beautiful animal.
It's hard
I feel like they
to resist the cheese.
have a lot of stories to tell through their eyes. That sounded really hippy-dippy, but... Yeah, spring, I mean, it essentially means life, rebirth, giving the world a new taste of Mother Nature. I really like capturing kind of the haze over there.
At the time of year when Colorado wakes up.
And this light is great.
Molly's subjects start their day early. She joins right in.
I love this guy's face.
But never too close.
Don't try to pet a bison. Wouldn't suggest it. If it's gonna disturb the animal, if it's gonna upset the animal, and it's a great shot, I just won't get it because it's not worth doing that to a species.
The Rocky Mountain Arsenal National Wildlife Refuge is minutes from Denver.
Having a morning chat.
But a wild world away.
It's a nice reminder of how spoiled I am to live in Colorado.
Spoiled because spring is when a picture is worth 1,000. Aww.
It's so cute how shy they are. Isn't that the cutest thing you've ever seen?
Molly's not subtle about her love for foxes.
That's my fox.
The signs are everywhere.
His name is Todd. Do you know where that name is from?
Blame the Fox and the Hound.
And I remember specifically when I was younger watching that movie being like, I want to go out and hang out with foxes one day.
Disney destiny manifested.
And they're going to get super excited. Yay! It's my secret fox spot. Somewhere in Colorado.
She keeps this spot on the down low for a reason.
So many species are deteriorating before our eyes, and it's purely because of humans. I'm a firm believer that if you respect the animal, it'll respect you and you'll have a better opportunity of viewing it. There's literally no place you can go in Colorado that's not gorgeous during the summer. And this area up on Mount Evans is known for mountain goats, bighorn sheep, tourists.
Solitude might be hard to find on the side of Mount Evans.
There's a really tiny one up there.
Wildlife is not.
They're not shy. It's a little pika.
Around the time spring turned to summer, Molly made a move too.
I quit my job to become a full-time photographer. You know, I was working in the customer service industry and I think I just couldn't do it anymore. not everyone's that friendly nowadays.
Animals behave.
He is just posing.
While people...
That one person was like 5 feet away from that goat. I'm gonna leave an angry note on their car. No, I'm not.
Molly believes conservation and creativity can coexist.
I just like to give animals space. I mean, this is their environment and I'm crashing it.
This is their home. And here is Molly's.
This is my adult house. This is look at this countertop.
When she's not out with her camera,
I always go back to the foxes.
Molly hangs out with some other wild animals.
Our dogs who own us.
And her work.
It's definitely my most popular shot. It's my most purchased print as well.
Her photos pay the bills. And so much more.
I got sober August 15th, 2015. And when I got out of treatment, I was thinking, well, what am I gonna do now? What do I do if I'm not going to the bar?
So she picked up a camera.
I was replacing the unhealthy habits with photography. My biggest accomplishment as of now is National Geographic. And the cool thing about this one is that it's right in the fold out. And I never would have been able to reach those accomplishments if I didn't get sober.
She loves the path she's on. But a piece of Molly's heart is missing.
Some photos of my mom and I. She got diagnosed with lung cancer at first, and it was stage 1. And they found that the lung cancer had come back, and it had metastasized into her bone. This is our very last photo together, January 28th, 2019.
Photos help Molly remember.
This is me. This is my mom, and then this is my partner, Bianca.
Photography helps her heal.
There's nowhere that I feel closer to her than being outside in nature and doing photography. You know, people always say the new year is the time to set intentions. I think fall's a really good one because you can actually go outside and see the changes.
Fall marches straight out of summer in Rocky Mountain National Park.
It's cool that you get to live, that we get to live in a state where you can see that full cycle.
Molly feels the change. The elk do too.
So the whole point of the elk, right, it's mating season. Listen to that bugle. Their one goal is to keep their ladies in line. And the bugle is just I think it's one of the coolest sounds. It's elk Tinder. But the females are not swiping, they're just forced to swipe.
Joking aside, Molly's mission is serious.
I really just want people to look at my photos and help me, along with other wildlife conservationists, just take the next step forward to protect these species. Because that's my passion, and do it for the things that I've lost. My mom was my biggest fan, Every time I see an animal, I'm like, thanks, Mom. I think one of the really cool things about shooting in the winter in Colorado is you can see the snow-capped mountains. We are looking for bald eagles, and we see them. They're just significantly far away.
Winter can be cruel.
Dang it.
And this day,
they're here.
It's true.
They're just shy.
No lens is long enough to capture what the heck's going on out there.
This is part of being a wildlife photographer. I rarely get disappointed because I can't obviously control Mother Nature.
They do their eagle thing.
It's pretty spectacular.
While Molly does hers.
Some white-tailed deer. I think they're just going for a little drink. Oh, and you know what, actually? Behind them are a bunch more bald eagles.
And boom.
God, they're huge.
The animal whisperer does it again.
That is so cool. It is cool to see that.
Winter eventually melts into spring. Spring blooms into summer. And on and on.
Yeah, I think we're fortunate to have all 4 seasons here.
Molly's just thrilled to take the ride.
Oh, see, that's the shot.